I I forgot to interact with the stupid screen again.
Oops.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Welcome in. I'm going to try and change the, how about I transition? There, hey, there we are. I'm clean shaven. Suris has a hammer, and I'm Nathaniel.
And I'm Susan.
This is, welcome to episode 6 of Divine Disbelief. We have a great, our intros are just getting better and better.
We'll need to write an actual intro.
We need an intro.
I'll do that.
But we have I like how this is slanted. We are figuring things out as we go along.
We got this.
I look like I'm really clean shaven.
Because your facial hair is so blonde and so white in most places.
Yeah, I'm going bald in my face apparently.
No.
I thought you said that you weren't going to stretch us so much, but here we are.
Are we stretched really bad here?
Oh, no.
Hold on, how stretched are we? And it doesn't want to let me fix it either. So hold on, let me see if I can. Let's see. There. Oh no, I just moved the whole screen. Cool. Well, they can't see that though. Neither can you.
It's okay.
Hold on, let me see. Hey, Suris, now we're tiny, but you can't see it.
I mean, I can see some stuff.
Yeah, and the YouTubes.
Yeah, you'll see it whenever it changes over. So we're stretched. We shouldn't be so. We should be little tiny little people.
Gainer says I'm low volume. Is that better? Is that possibly better?
All the time.
Yeah, that happened with
Yeah, that happened.
Neil last week.
Yeah. But if you don't already know, special guest and friend of the show and good friend of mine and Susan's, Suris the Skeptic is in the house, or he's in some house somewhere.
Well, I'm in the apartment for the last day we're going to be in the apartment. This is, I just finished packing up the entire bathroom, and we're about halfway done with every other room. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Slowly but surely.
Yeah, nice.
All right.
Do that.
No beard is. Hey, the sassy atheist says no beard is good. Have you seen me when I had the beard? Because I think that's an important distinction. Like in order to form an opinion, you have to be able to see me with the beard first.
Compare and contrast.
I did a photo shoot on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well,
So
if they want to see you with the beard, they can just come over to my channel and see any of the number of episodes that we've done with you on.
yes,
Right.
and that is one of the great things here. Suris has been kind enough to have both myself and Susan on your channel, Suris the Skeptic. I've been on there. I did a debate on your channel.
That was such
I'd
an
call it that,
interesting night.
if you want to call it a
It was
debate.
interesting.
That was less a debate and more a granting of a convenient California smile.
It's it was interesting.
It was a good time. And we also went on there. We spoke about the stuff that was going on in Georgia. That's now obviously going on in Alabama as well.
Going on, it's already happened.
Yeah.
Yes, the ongoing attempt to make women property again.
Yep.
I feel like that was probably the goal all along, but
What's funny is I had I have a friend who, like, a lot of my friends are posting about the bill, either in support or against it. And one of my friends posted against the bill, and I think one of his family members responded with, "Hey, no, this is they were just like, hey, the lives of the unborn should be protected at all costs." And I said, yes, and the autonomy of the woman should be protected at all costs. We agree on both of these issues.
Yeah.
Now where do we go from here? Like, that's the fun thing about the whole debate is usually it's like, which one's greater than the other? It's like, well, I agree that both are important. However, if I have to choose which one's more important, I'm going to go with the one that doesn't make my fellow people a biological slave. I'm going to go with that one.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's actually, I think, how bad is it? Because we obviously, on our show here, we talk about things that affect us in the secular news, in the secular world and stuff like that. How bad is it that we've had, is this the 4th episode in a row where we've had to talk about abortion?
I think so. We tried to avoid it last week, but
You have to have a show about it for every state trying to do it.
that's a lot of shows, man.
Texas is one of those. Welcome to the Lone Star State. We're not so
Yeah.
alone in that shit, though.
No.
That's
No.
where we are, by the way. We are in DFW. It's actually where I finally, and Susan, we got to meet our good friend Suris almost a month ago.
Yeah.
Over there in Dallas.
Vegas Forum.
Oh, By the way, so if you're wanting to increase my individual volume, which I'm thinking I'm seeing stuff in the chat about that.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you can really do is change your desktop volume, increase your desktop volume to higher. I think that's the only way you can really do that. If your desktop volume is set to higher to where both on either on your end or on OBS, I'm assuming you're using OBS and not Streamlabs OBS.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. No. There should be a slider for that volume that you can increase.
Yeah, I did that, and then I did that, and then we'll see what happens. Good, almost to good. Now, now much better.
Yes.
So then that matters then whenever I'm doing like
Yeah.
the opening audio.
Yeah.
I should
Yes.
learn. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do a lot of these live shows, so I've been bludgeoned with the here's all the mistakes you could possibly make. Now here's how to fix them.
We are good at doing all of them.
Doing all of them.
I think it's me though, not her. I am great at making all of the mistakes.
Oh.
It is my.
I make.
It
a
is
lot of
my.
mistakes.
It is all of the technology is my fault. So we'll just go ahead and do that. She makes all of the amazing cover graphics though. So we had our original logo, the Divine Disbelief logo, and the alternate logos made by KC over at Godless Engineer. She's a great friend of mine, Susan's, and of the channel as well, obviously. She made the original logo and the alternates. And then what we do when we got in touch with Neil, the 604 atheist, and then last week Neil, the unlikely atheist, and now I'm just going to call you Neil because we needed a Neil Fecta.
Yeah.
When we get your avatars or however you like to represent it, and then she creates the half and half thing because I have Photoshop and I can't do that.
It just consists of using Paint 3D,
don't know why.
honestly.
So, yeah, and by the way, Raging Atheist says that they are really great logos. I agree.
Yeah, I do too.
So,
I really
and
like
then Suris, by the way, your fans are here. They are
A
all
few of them are.
Yeah, so welcome in, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. It really means a lot. That's really great of you guys.
If you are, and this is something that happens whenever you and I are on the channel together, on your channel, so welcome into ours. You have folks that make you fan art, which is super cool.
Yeah.
If you want to see a lot of really amazing and unique, I'm going to use that word, fan art.
Unique is the word for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unique is definitely the word for it.
You can go over to Suris's channel, and we have links in the description with this one. He has a Discord server, and you can see all of... I have not been on your Discord in like a week. I'm so sorry.
I need to join.
A lot of one of the channels is a lot of channels, and one of them is for like the art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so you can go and look at those. If you are in here this evening and you want to send to Suris some fan art, go ahead and do that.
Please do.
However you submit that. And Suris will then send it over to myself or to Susan, and we'll go ahead and post it up on this channel as well. So there you go. So if you want to do that, that's awesome. Put Susan Susan on there. That's she deserves to be on some fan art.
I've never had like fan art done of me, but I have commissioned people before to do like avatars and stuff. But my most favorite one was by a gentleman named Roger Brunke that works for Rooster Teeth that captured the essence of Susan face,
Oh, I've seen that one.
which made me very, very happy.
Yeah, if you could find that, and I'll try and find it while we're doing some talking here. I might see if I can't find it and put it up here. If not, it'll be on the Divine Disbelief channel or Twitter account. I'm having issues
Why are you having issues?
with I see that with the wordings.
With them words there.
It's been a day. It's been a month actually. We made it. I'm actually kind of surprised we made it to 6 episodes. Our first episode was we made a decision at that point. We're like, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
But here we are.
You got to sort of realize.
The first one's always the hardest, and then afterwards, what's really awkward is that the people who learned how to do this through Google Hangouts, and then of course a lot of the Google Hangouts infrastructure is just kind of gone now.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
So the people who learned how to do this through that are having to adapt to using other mediums now, and it's once you get it down though, it's pretty easy, and you can make a show look pretty nice after you've gotten gotten a few episodes under your belt and you've got like the fundamentals there. The first step is always just, okay, can we get the camera on and can we get the voices audible? Okay, now that we've got that, now we can move forward with doing other things.
We'll build it from there.
Yeah, we're once now that, because I'm still go back into, I used to do OBS on Periscope and stream there with OBS, and it was a lot of fun. This is not quite as easy. So and so I'm having to learn this kind of all over again. And by the way, I see the Raging Atheist left us a chat for, and since we don't do super chats yet because we don't have enough subscribers, enough people watching us, that's fine. He said, "You are here, and now we're going to promote the hell out of you. So here you will stay." Thank you so much for that, the Raging Atheist. So that's very, very nice.
I'm sending it.
But I'm going to send it over.
Yeah.
Awesome. Actually, if you want to put it into the Divine Disbelief Google Doc for this episode, I'll be able to get it right there, up on the screen. But let's go ahead. And by the way, somebody asked me, am I Atheist Husker on Twitter? That I am. But let's see if we can't get into some secular news and see if we can't. We're going to try and stay positive this week. We try and stay positive and upbeat, and sometimes it's not so easy. But we always do what we can to.
It's ginormous, by the way.
It's enormous. You're not going to self-own yourself there, huh?
It's huge.
Huge.
Let's see. Since I think I closed the doc.
Oops.
Oh, there it is, there.
I've got every page open if you need me to like.
Well, we're gonna start with Pareidolia.
Yes, I'm so excited about Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. This is, if you don't know, Susan, give them an idea of what Pareidolia is.
So Pareidolia is a phenomenon where humans will look for patterns. As vague as the patterns may be, they will find a reason to look for like human faces or animals and stuff like that. It's the same thing as when you're searching for shapes in the clouds. Wikipedia says tendency to interpret a vague stimulus as something known to the observer, such as seeing shapes in clouds, seeing faces in inanimate objects or abstract patterns, or hearing hidden messages in music.
Yeah, so it's we all do the Pareidolia thing. For me, whenever I listen to music, whenever I'm trying to focus, and I have to, because trying to focus, attention deficit is sometimes fun to deal with, and so I listen to some music, and it's like white noise almost. And when I do, what I hear, it's this white noise, and every once in a while, you can hear like different little things in there, almost like people are talking. And it's just because your brain is trying to interpret the sound into something that you recognize. Yeah. And this is not an uncommon thing. This past week, and Suris, I just put it up on the screen so that way and look at that. The images I sent you we're going to do those. That's actually in order.
I've got all these there, and I can see them.
Nice. This past week, down in Argentina, right? That is Argentina, right? Oh, we're getting copyright strike now. Thanks, Susan.
Not that many from one line? No, I don't know.
Actually, Jimmy, Mr. Atheist, did a quick piano number, and he made his own lyrics up whenever there was a thing with Friended Forever that happened between him and Shannon Q. And it was like 5 seconds. My channel got hit with copyright.
Jeezy bees.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it picks things up really easily. The lyrics were different. And everything. The copyright system can pick that shit up pretty good.
Wow. Well, Susan, I'm gonna have to put like that. I'm gonna
to ruin your channel.
I'm gonna have to put that into like the
what I do best.
The music by.
Yeah, music courtesy of.
Is it Universal or something? I don't even know. But this is down in Argentina where they have that enormous Jesus statue with the open arms. That's in Argentina, right? Or it's in Buenos Aires.
Isn't it in Brazil?
I don't know.
I thought it was in Brazil.
Isn't like that one right there? That little Jesus action. She's looking at the screen. You can't.
Yeah,
see
but in Rio de Janeiro.
Okay, it's in Rio. My bad. Whatever. It's the countries that are south of us. It's one of the 3 Mexican countries. I don't know.
Obviously.
They see in Argentina, they saw this photo that you can see on the screen right now of where apparently it's sun rays coming through the clouds, and obviously it's very, very, very white Jesus.
Very white Jesus and very photoshopped. I
Yeah.
can tell because of the pixels and because I've seen many shops in my day.
Huh.
Even if it weren't a Photoshop, though, a phenomenon like that is something that we see on a fairly regular basis.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
Even if it weren't a shop, and I'm willing to do that whole benefit of the doubt thing where I say, okay, maybe it's not a shop. It still doesn't lead me to believe anything is even remotely convincing.
Yeah, and here's an example of that. And now we're in the background. Didn't mean to do all that, but you can see this and this image right here. This is Duck Jesus, I think.
See, I thought it looked like a scared chicken.
Is it a scared chicken?
Yeah.
It's
It
crossed
looks like a chicken who's ready to peck your eyes out.
with a cross.
Yeah.
It is. It would be like, I swear to Duck Jesus, I will burn you on this. Is it or chicken?
Ducks are
Chicken
fuckers,
Jesus.
dude.
They're related. I don't know. Look,
They're
it is.
all related to dinosaurs.
They are dinosaurs. Watch this. Watch what I can do.
What can you do?
I think I can do it. That and then that. Haha! I
Nice.
made us disappear.
I'm proud of you.
I'm learning this, but yeah, that's Duck Jesus, or Chicken Jesus.
I think How to Heretic actually tweeted like a meme with that one earlier today, and I was like, "This is the best."
That's awesome. This, of course, this
I also just realized something. I'm looking at the Jesus picture again.
yeah. Go back to that.
The one that went viral. And I'm noticing something. This picture is in like below 360p resolution.
Yeah.
And even more importantly than that, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm going to take a little screenshot of an area here for you guys, and I'm going to send it to you. This is one of those things where, like, when you see this, you have to assume that there's at least some Photoshoppy shit going on.
Uh-huh.
So allow me to send that to you real quick I'm going to send it to you on Twitter.
Very good. That'd be great. I'm looking for that.
I figured I would just go ahead and take a quick look there and see, like, hey, can I see something that looks like telltale photoshopping? And yes, I can. If
Yes.
you take that and blow it up.
Oh, but Suris, they would never lie about seeing Jesus.
Of course not.
Nathaniel, were you there?
That is. Thank you, Ken Ham. God, I want to go an episode out and bring up fucking Ken Ham too.
I'm just going to say that I thought that my impression last week was pretty fucking good.
It was. Let me see here. And Suris sent. Oh yes. Let me see if I can't. Suris, I'm gonna go ahead and save this image. I'm gonna put it into there. I'm just gonna be like, okay. And I'm gonna see if I can't go ahead and just add this real quick while we're going through this. I'm gonna go ahead and just add this in and see if we can't get a picture of it. But let's cycle back through. There's Duck Jesus or Chicken Jesus again, whatever. And then the next one is one that's fairly well known, and it's the Drunk Octopus.
It's my favorite.
That's of all the ones we have. Is that your favorite one?
Drunk Octopus is my favorite.
Very like.
Drunk octopus wants to fight.
Yes.
Is that your favorite of like all the Pareidolia images ever, or just the ones we have right now?
That's a good question, but I honestly think it's the favorite of the ones that we have now, because my personal favorite, which I noticed we don't have, is the one of the Jesus in the dog butt.
Oh yeah. That's actually I think that's actually somebody's on somebody's
With their avatar on.
avatar on Twitter.
Nice.
Definitely have seen that one. And there's that. Thank you so much, Suris. I'm gonna go ahead and that in there, and then we'll take a look at that here in just a minute. Here, the thing you sent me there, or I'll try to anyways, as I try and continue talking about it. There we go. And then the next one we have
Bum Jesus is funny. Yes, I agree.
is the next one up there is the two houses. It's not the two houses in Germany. I don't know where these are at, but somebody is very surprised that the person next to them is high as fuck.
Yeah, that is legit. Just
He's just like, dude,
Stoned out of
you
his
weren't supposed to
gourd.
take that much.
I know.
Right.
You cannot come in here. Are you serious? Do you know what Mom would say?
I'm telling Mom on you.
Like, that is very. I don't. So what I'm guessing, by the way, is that on the right side of that, those are windows, right? Those are circular windows.
I would assume so.
In the white.
Yeah.
Because I can't.
Probably.
And then the next one
I feel
is.
like this one's your favorite.
It's not my favorite of all time, but it is my favorite today because it's obvious. This guy is trying to get to the theater to see his upcoming movie,
Yes.
which I think comes out like next week or something.
Something like that.
And it's Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's very obviously Godzilla.
I'm actually quite a fan of that one. It looks like it looks like an animal, but I think he might be treading water.
I was wondering if we were gonna get Hovind today.
We got Hovind.
Do you want to explain it in Ken Ham? Because her Ken Ham is
Oh,
actually
God.
pretty good. It's like a mixture of Ken Ham and Ray Comfort, so it's very Ken comforting.
Comforting.
Go ahead.
No, I can't do
Oh,
If you've heard, the atheist's worst nightmare is Ken Ham.
it. Oh,
do
I don't know.
you-
No, I can't do it right now.
Not on
I can't do it
prompt.
right now.
Okay, that's
yeah.
okay. That's
I
okay.
can do it when I'm like.
That's
trying
okay.
To read
If
something.
if you need help, just remember, look at a well-made banana.
There he is. A banana.
No.
Also, check your Twitter.
Yeah. Did you send me something else?
I sent you, but I did not make it.
Oh, it is. Oh, well, we got a.
And it is she no.
Oh, I don't have any facial hair.
Well, it's because it
That's
looks like
fine.
you don't have any facial hair right now.
It's-
Oh my god! I
Susan
love
is.
it!
So, by the way, do we know who? Can we say
Yes,
who
that
made
is-
it?
That one is from Gaelic Knox.
Gaelic Knox, you are the best.
Yay!
This
Oh
is.
my
We might actually. We're gonna end up
gosh.
using this one somewhere. Let's go. I'll put that up as soon as we come out of the out of our slideshow here, which we're almost done with.
I'm so happy.
And then.
Yep, definitely a kaiju attack.
I love it. By the way,
Man,
if anybody that
Rim.
ever listens to our show is gonna know what a kaiju is, it's the fan of Suris.
Man, Pacific Rim.
The
I'm
Suris
gonna
is
go watch Pacific Rim again.
the Pacific.
Kaijus are pre-Pacific Rim. Don't even.
Yeah,
I still want
they
to watch
are.
Pacific Rim again.
But this is actually what's funny is Susan and I. That was, by the way, not a slight to Suris's fan base.
My fan base is made up of nerds, dorks, and geeks, and we're all happy about that.
And
Yes.
I love every single
Yes, I go in there, and there are times when I go into Discord chat where I'm like, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
Raging
But
Atheist
I-
says this house is freaking me out, man.
By the way, this is in Germany. This is actually in Berlin.
Oh,
This is the house that just stumbled on some really risque porn.
It's like
It's
a
not sure how it
house.
feels.
It's a Bane house, and he is not happy about things. He looks like Bane.
oh, he
Right.
You were
does.
merely born in construction.
Yeah, he's like, I used to be
They
able to
built
do
me
Bane.
brick by brick.
I used to be able to do Bane pretty well.
Nice.
Because it's like a very like high pitched version of Sean Connery.
I can do
Right.
like Stitch, and that's about the extent of it.
Stitch.
Stitch.
But he I haven't tried to do Bane in a long time either though.
You can try it later.
The he
The
said I can try.
impersonation is yours.
I do. What did he say? But you weren't built here. I was built here. No.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I am a true Aryan house.
I'm not a white supremacist. I am a nationalist. There's a difference.
Oh, now we're gonna,
No, there's not.
now they're gonna come in the chat. Thanks,
Like,
sirs.
no.
Um,
No.
but this is actually
Might change one of their minds.
there are plenty of these houses in Berlin.
That all look like they're fucking stoned out of their
They look
gourds.
like they are, yes, because it is got red eyes, right? They need some clear eyes.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna do a Ben Stein even
No,
though
they
I
just need
can.
some sunglasses. It's okay. Just toss some sunglasses on the house. It'd be fine.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they'd be like, still going after Batman.
See, but the difference between the previous stoned one And this stoned one, is that one looked happy.
This one is mad.
Yeah, this
it's
one's
paranoid stoned.
Yeah, the other one's like happy stoned. This one's like, they're coming for me, man.
And then this one, okay, so yes, Godzilla was my favorite, but this one is she has just woken up and her hair is still.
It's like me in
her
the
hair,
mornings.
yes.
It's a descending Super Saiyan orange. It's okay.
Yeah, this hair is on fire. It's what it is.
It's over 9,000.
This is actually, and it's not much. By the way, it's something like this where you just cut it in half. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago we did on our show, we did the thing where the guy was trying to make money because a gem cut in half and it looks like praying hands or something.
Yeah.
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 This is not much different than that.
You mean people trying to make money off of other people's religious prejudices? Holy crap, we've never seen that before.
That's
Inca
never
stones.
happened.
Inca stones.
The Inca stones. I love the Inca stones. We've actually seen some Inca stones.
Yeah.
We have. We've seen them. I have photos. I'll have to put them out there. That way, everybody.
We saw one at the Creation Evidence Museum in Glen Rose.
Yeah.
And then when we went to one night at First Baptist Dallas, they had one too, didn't they? The most recent time we went.
Oh, that guy had an Inca stone. Yeah,
he had an Inca stone.
And he did not. He never said anything.
He didn't know that it was.
Yeah, for some
fake.
reason he had no idea, and he actually, but he even said Carl Baugh was wrong.
Yeah.
But he never said Inca stones are not are fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but this is more like it just happened to be that they cut the orange in half at that right place.
Yeah.
So
it's just a crazy random happenstance.
And then, the Pareidolia Brewing Company, the writing didn't. I should have the white background for this.
Okay.
But this is Pareidolia Brewing Company. It's down in St. Petersburg, Florida.
I don't know.
They've been around since 2014. I like this for multiple reasons. Number one, they recognize what Pareidolia is. Number two, they did a great job with the graphic of like the whiskey barrel, then also it's very punny.
Yeah.
Because face it, beer is good.
I love that. It's in Sebastian, Florida, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah. That's cool. I dig it.
Suris, you're not an alcohol person, but
nope. I have sweet tea.
I have Diet Coke down on the floor, which I can't
Susan
reach
just
right
tried
now.
to pull her headphones off of her head.
I had Diet Coke earlier when we got up and we went up and got some food in order to prepare for getting the last vestiges of our stuff packed up today. Because like the house, like if you look over at that side of the house, it is box. It is just box. Every possible type of box.
No.
It's funny. By the way, somebody that liked my beard, a friend of ours who's actually from Nebraska, saw the thing that I put on Twitter and said, "This is a tragic loss to humanity. Beardy will be remembered." So not everybody's a fan of me.
I see in the chat somebody is saying I drink hot sauce instead of booze. You're not wrong.
That's true. And some of your, actually, I've seen some of the art that people sent in with you and you're like guzzling hot sauce. So
it burns the pain away.
Every time you do like a live debunk video, sometimes you'd rather put that in your eyes than have to look at those videos.
Considering the last one I did was on an interview between Jesse Lee Peterson and Steven Anderson.
Oh fuck
dear.
no! Oh, by the way,
that's all the worst things just sandwiched together.
Oof.
Put a photo on Twitter yesterday. Actually, her optometrist is named Steven Anderson.
Yeah. Which was
We
really
almost
entertaining.
left.
Well, no.
No,
I
we
mean,
did not.
Yeah.
But just by happenstance, like really, really.
And he had no idea. He had no idea that
Yeah.
who Steven Anderson, the hate preacher.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes. And so of course we educated him, and he was like, oh, and he was like this really like soft-spoken optometrist too.
Yeah, he
so,
was nice though.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
got her some new sunglasses.
Yeah, they'll be here in 2 weeks.
But and that goes back to the original photo. And so I'm going to show the zoomed in photo that that you sent, Suris. And I'm going to go ahead and transition that over there, and we can look at it now. And yes, you can really tell at the very bottom of the photo where they went ahead and edited.
Yeah, when you look at that photo, when I did that zoom in piece, I was like, well, let me zoom into this real quick and see if there's any telltale signs. And when you look at that bottom section and you see that it goes from a smooth gradient to just flat and the pixels are all one line.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like, oh, there's an eraser edge.
Yep. Yep. And
that was neat.
Yep. And by the way, if you're looking at it on the screen, you can tell because it's next to the black. It kind of goes vertical for a little bit, and then it's just flat.
Yeah.
White. Yeah. So it definitely is photoshopped. But even if it were not, congratulations, the atmosphere created something.
It's really hard to tell in the because the resolution's lower on the main whatchamacallit, on your stream. Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder to tell where the actual flat cutoff is. It looks like a smoother gradient. So if anybody wants to see the original image itself, just send me a message on Discord and I'll send it to you. So you can take a look at the zoom in where it doesn't look like a smooth gradient. It's silly.
Yeah. I went ahead and I put the original one back up on the screen, and we made this actually. We did that kind of with the latency and all that kind of on. It was like, this is better because you'll better for streaming. And as I go along, I'm like, no, I'm just not going to listen to you anymore, YouTube. Let me turn that off, and then I'll
Get back to us.
I'm going to try and get back to us.
Yeah. We're getting there.
I said I was going to do. I'll do that one. Nope, not that one. See, look at me doing things wrong.
There we go.
There we are. We'll transition over to this, and then while Susan is bringing up the
rugby.
the next one there, we're talking about soccer or something, right?
It's called rugby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, all of Suris's fans just left.
Sorry. So a few weeks ago, we talked about a rugby player who officially released an apology for making like an Easter Instagram post, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I have such faith," and blah blah blah. Well, a big reason why that particular rugby player felt a need to apologize for it was because of a teammate of his. Now, the teammate's name is Israel Folau. He had come under fire for some controversial Instagram posts, including one proclaiming that hell awaits drunks, homosexuals, adulterers, liars, fornicators, thieves, atheists, and idolaters. Well,
oh, so he's a Romans 1:22 guy. Great.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's but now, as of Friday, they have decided to rip up his 4-year, $4 million contract. So thank you, Rugby Australia. Now, the chief executive, Raylene Castle, said Rugby Australia did not choose to be in this situation, but Rugby Australia's position remains that Israel, through his actions, left us with no choice to pursue the course of action resulting in today's outcome. People need to feel safe and welcomed in the game, regardless of their race, background, or sexuality. Folau has 72 hours to appeal the decision, but they are not commenting on the reports that Folau plans to take the case to the Australian Supreme Court. I think what makes me the most infuriated about this is the fact that he is not showing any sort of remorse. He's not sorry. He's doubling the fuck down.
Of course he's not, because he's doing the classic thing where you say, do I have premise A, do I have religious freedom? Yes. Okay, premise 2, should I be allowed to talk about my religion? Yes. Then you get to premise 3, which is my religion harmful? And then there's this shaky, like, if you have to if you answer yes, which would be being honest here,
Yeah.
Then we have to come to the conclusion that even though premise 1 and 2 are right, you should be allowed to talk about your religion, and you are in fact able to have your religion. If it is harmful, if the things it's like, for instance, if I had a religion that just so happened to include, and there are some religions like this, I just don't want to mention them by name, that include that's courtesy to a friend of mine who's got some people he can't stand that are part of this. But there are some religions that include in them white supremacy as like an actual part of it. It's not quite Aryan. It's more like we are the descendants of the people who bear this religion. Therefore, this is ours, and no one else can have it. And blah blah blah. It's literally just it's white supremacy, but masked under religious pretense of inheriting this value.
Right.
So if somebody were to then say that they were better than every other race because they happen to be their religion that includes in it these ideas of white supremacy, it would almost be a universal, like, okay, no, you can't do that. Sorry, you don't get to be a freaking ethno-statist white nationalist and also keep playing for your country that is not itself an ethno-state. So you don't get to do that. That would not be in question. And yet, when somebody says that, oh well, person X deserves to burn in hell, which, mind you, is worse. It is worse, and not just marginally so. It is worse to say that you deserve to burn in hell than it is to say that you deserve to die. Because if you die, that can be quick, that can be easy, that can be done, and then there's nothing to worry about afterwards because you lost the capacity to worry. Hell, on the other hand, involves you suffering for eternity. You will be suffering longer than the amount of time that you have been on this earth presently, and much more past that. It is infinitely worse to tell somebody that they deserve to burn in hell. And if you are willing to tell people that they deserve to burn in hell for any amount of time, because it is worse than wishing death upon those people, I can now then go, would it be okay if you had said you wish all these people died? Well, no, of course not. Is this thing worse? Yes. Then should you fucking said it?
Yeah.
Exactly. And of course it stems from something that we chose kind of like not to talk about, with the stuff he said on the stuff the other player said on Easter, where we looked at that and we were like, wait, what? Because he was just like, Happy Easter, right?
Yeah.
And that's a player on
that was the guy that apologized.
Yeah, with no need to do so. And it's like, I think it's an important distinction to make.
Yeah.
That one of them is like, Happy Easter. Mm-hmm. To which I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
That person, there should be that, and this has a partially to do with like the way that we have become across the world. It seems like reactionary to a lot of things, and this is an example of that, to where it's like this person, as you mentioned, Suris, and you, Susan, as well, has said these things that are horrible, that degrade all different types of people. It's not the same thing.
Right.
I would say one thing. Just be careful not to muddy the waters on the word reactionary.
Yeah.
That has a distinct meaning now, which means you're a right winger.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and so thank you for that. That's absolutely
so just
true.
Like reactive. Like, I'm not trying to police language. Just trying to say that that's a there's a thing that I've seen a little phenomenon I've seen happen where person A who's left will say that person B is a reactionary. And then person B will say, look at person A, they're a hypocrite because they're reacting to me. And it's like, that's... Okay, no, that's not what he said. He didn't say you're being reactive. He said you're being a reactionary. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
Right.
And that's true. Thank you for that again. And by the way, I did put the art from Gaelic Knox up there in the middle.
It's so cute. I love it.
It is.
Makes
We're
me so happy.
definitely gonna use that somewhere, obviously with credit given. And I'm trying to find, there it is, the very much larger Susan photo that I need to break down.
Oh, my mouth.
Of your yes, it's definitely a Susan thing. And Suris, I think that
Susan face.
if you look into the the Google Doc search, you'll see it for sure.
Be in my giant
But
mouth.
there, I'll put it so that it's, and you can kind of see it there now. It covers up there. I'll just cover up Suris with it. And we'll just go ahead. That was made last year, 2018, by
a gentleman named Roger Brunke that works for Rooster Teeth.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now you're up in the left corner. Good job, Susan. That's where you are.
Yay.
Very good. So that, and people do kind of wonder, like, why are we bringing up that kind of a thing if it's like a secular type of show? And that's actually something that Susan and I talk about a lot when we are considering what to bring on to the show.
Yeah.
Like something that we chose not to bring on earlier today was the guy in Missouri, right? Talking about like consensual rape and all of that, which is awful, and it has to do with like the abortion nonsense they're trying to do in Missouri. This though, and the reason we chose not to bring it on is not, and while his leanings have to do with religion, this and the why he said that, but it wasn't an explicit thing, and so we made the decision not to bring that on to the show, not because it's not important, but rather because this has to do with understanding the differences between somebody, and this I think is something that we should learn to appreciate in the secular community, to appreciate the fact that somebody said Happy Easter, and to be able to say that person on his tweet is different than somebody using their religion to really hate other people. And that's why it's important for us to, I think, to remember that and to kind of keep that in our minds whenever we interact with people that are religious. And that's something that, like, people, when they come into this from religion, there is, depending on the level of indoctrination, there can be an incredible amount of animosity built up against the religion, against the people that told them, that lied to them, they think, their entire lives. And we've seen this. Yeah. And we see it still. We see it like a lot of the time. And to where what we need to do is embrace that person, like the unlikely atheist. Yeah. Neil, he came out as an atheist on YouTube before he told his parents. Yeah. And we had such a great conversation with him last week, and there could have been something with him that was just anger. Yeah. Because of the 36 years, he said. And so I think it was important that we do things like that, like you and I did, and like other people in our community have done, and embrace that. Yeah. But also embrace those that are religious, that are still religious, and to say, hey, respect the fact that you are religious. I'm not. And to also say, I don't believe, and if they want to have the conversation, to do that, but also not to demean them based on the fact that they are religious. Right. Now, I have said many a time that there are ridiculous beliefs, the ridiculous claims are deserving of ridicule. Yeah. And I still agree with that. But the person is not. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Beliefs don't deserve respect, but people do. Yeah.
And even then, I mean, most people, I think there's a distinct difference between the way that some people use the term respect. Yeah. A lot of people, particularly people who are minorities and stuff like that, will use it.
Go ahead.
Oh, Gaelic Knox, I love it.
Go ahead.
Oh, the floof. They'll use it in the manner of, I want to be treated like a person, whereas people who are so used to being in power they say, I want to be treated with respect as I want to be treated, like I'm authority. Yeah. And people need to realize the differences between the two. Like, just treat
absolutely.
People like they're fucking human, dude.
But it's also important, I think, when we have those conversations, and this does vary wildly depending on who we're speaking with. Right. I doubt that Matt Powell and I could have a sit-down, respectful dialogue because he's a dishonest piece of shit.
I know for a fact that I would not be able to, because the last time that I had a sit-down discussion with Matt Powell for any amount of time, he spent most of the time trying to claim that I was a liar.
He's such a piece of
crap.
crap.
Which was wonderful, because during that time I asked him, where did I lie? Could you please show me the thing that I lied about? And then, of course, he couldn't, which is just 10 out of 10. Matt Powell out of 5. And then, of course, when he tried to come in during our episode about the Georgia bill. And then this guy is like ready and willing to talk with people like Skylar Fiction and Bionic Dance and others. But as soon as I'm like, hey, if you want to have a debate about this, we will go at it. He's like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, yeah, yes, of course, you freaking coward.
Yeah.
I already know that.
Yeah, and so people speaking in bad faith like that, and we know he would, Suris, he would never talk to us in good faith, or anybody as far as I know.
Yeah.
That's to be taken into consideration, but having the conversation with somebody that's actually respectful and is listening, there's also a level of ridicule to be given. This is a reason that I don't accept this claim.
Right.
And that's important.
Yeah.
Somebody just says, but of course, if it also starts, this is like, if it starts off like that, but then they go off the deep end, then there's like a chain. But we should start with that olive branch, right?
Yeah.
Which I love the olive branch thing.
Start from
because of where it comes from.
Start from a place of attempting to understand the other person's viewpoint, and go from there. Like, gauge your reactions based on theirs and blah 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 and stuff like that. Yeah.
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 That was a fun little tangent we went on, but I think it's also important, and that includes people within that share our beliefs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not always going to agree, but it's important to stay respectful regardless.
Yeah, and I think that's a big difference between some people's views on things and other people's views on things.
Yeah,
some
absolutely.
people are willing to give a little more, like cut a little more slack than other people.
It's true.
Especially when they're on the
There are some people who, for one reason or another, like usually I'm okay employing the principle of charity. Mm-hmm. Even if somebody has said something in a way that like is virulently offensive, usually I can go, okay, I think what you meant by that is this, and maybe from there we can have a conversation. I find that much more useful for opening dialogue than just like immediately going blah blah blah, you offended me. Like, no, that's not going to do a whole lot in a lot of these conversations, especially if you're trying to convince somebody. Like, I can, if for some reason we were to have attempt to have a good faith conversation with somebody like Powell, one, telling him that something that he said was offensive isn't going to matter, nor is he going to care. But maybe if he says something stupid, it would probably be better to try to get at the root of, okay, why do you think that? Usually with someone like him, he's going to backpedal into the Bible. But sometimes there's more to it than that. If he backpedals into the Bible, there's not really a whole lot you can do. I've gotten to the point where I've stopped trying to talk to a lot of people from like within biblical standards, because I'd rather focus on why you would use a biblical standard for something like morality, why you would use it for something like geology.
Yeah.
Just nah.
I would say that we could have a whole video about that, but we already have more than once. You have a whole like series dedicated to that. By the way, no, you will not get banned for Lion King spoilers. Going way back in the chat on that. And yes, we read your chat when we have the opportunity to do so. Yeah. And it is also important to note, Raging Atheist is an example of somebody that Matt Powell will misrepresent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, yeah, and so that's important. So,
and the thing that, oh, go on. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, has Puzzle in a Thunderstorm brought legal action against him yet? Because he like just stole part of God Awful Movies Live whenever they were up here in Dallas and were covering Science Falsely So Called. He just like stole part of it and posted it on his own channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is generally what he does. No, I feel bad because like Nakasuchi is my friend, so when somebody does something to Nakasuchi, it bothers me. And me and Nak have had the discussion about how he's new to the debate portion of this, the one-on-one. I don't have my research right in front of me. I need to be quick-witted. I need to be a rhetorician now. I need to be an orator, not just a presenter. And that's a learned skill. It's a hard one to learn, and it's one that you usually learn through Fire and Flame.
That's why I let him do it.
And it sucks because the person I've seen over the course of these events with the Science Falsely So-Called movie and everything that has come out past that, Powell over and over again taking advantage of Nakasuchi and the fact that he is very early on in learning this stuff and learning it through Fire and Flames. Now, granted, there is something to be said that maybe Matt Powell is one of the best people you could learn this stuff against, because if you needed a textbook example of a bad faith actor and a dishonest interlocutor, Powell is all of that. So you won't be blindsided twice. So
yeah, that
is at least a positive that has come from this.
Right.
Oh yeah, and of course I think it got Raging Atheists some publicity that maybe he would not have otherwise had, positive or negative.
Yeah.
So, it was, let's just say, interesting to see how dishonest that was. So,
yeah.
And of course, if you want to see, he's in the chat right now. And so if you're listening to this after right now, you won't know that. But go over to his channel and you can see the videos that he's done like before and since then.
Yeah.
And there has been a bit of an evolution with that. And so that's important.
He puts out quality stuff.
Yeah. He said, "Is MAGA a religion?" That's what Baloney asked that. My Baloney asked a question.
My Baloney has a first name, and it's TRUMP.
That's, there you go. And I see that a god for the atheist is having a good time in the chat too.
Yeah.
I love having a troll.
I know,
Usually my trolls.
You've got two trolls.
I have
Your
two
two
of them.
trolls are you.
Usually they're only on Periscope, and then I can point them out like really quickly.
You can mute them
But
and stuff.
yeah, I do. Sometimes I do. But this, because I have multiple screens up at the same time, it's not as easy.
Yeah, so I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat, and sometimes it's not entirely working.
No, it's all right. Oh, remember on Wednesday's show, I was drinking a Mountain Dew, the preferred choice of Thor, the god of thunder. And tonight, I'm drinking Shiner Bock, the preferred choice of Susan.
When I drink.
The goddess of divine disbelief.
Very seldom that I do drink.
When she does not drink very often. So there are now two companies that, if you would like, by the way, to sponsor us, PepsiCo and Shiner. Shiner is Shiner, right? It's brewed in Shiner.
Yes.
At Spetzel.
At the Spotzel Brewery.
Spotzel.
Yes.
It's good stuff. Just saying.
Free advertisement.exe.
I mean, yeah.
Stopped working.
But the next, I don't even know what our next thing is up there.
Polk County, Florida.
I knew we were
going to Florida.
Good old Florida, man. What do we got in Florida?
So, earlier in May, there was a gentleman named Joseph Richardson, who happens to be an atheist, who delivered an invocation in front of the Polk County Board of Commissioners. But he only really kind of did it after the commissioner, Bill Braswell, had told everybody that there wouldn't be, quote, any pig's blood or a goat's head involved. Thanks, Bill Braswell. We appreciate that.
It's really annoying when you have to pretend so hard that atheists do shit like this.
We're awful people.
I mean, yes, I understand there are some jokes amongst the atheist community that are still hilarious. I prefer my baby's medium well, for instance. But it's really weird that there are legitimately people that think that, oh, you're an atheist, that means you do satanic rituals and you sacrifice goats to the demon lord.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
They don't understand
Right.
that, lack of belief in God includes lack of belief in, Satan. They can't comprehend that. So they did eventually do it.
That's because Satan is the deceiver. He's the Lord of lies. If you think you don't believe in Satan, you are deceived. You are a sinner. You are a harlot. You are a horrible human being. I'm sorry, you live in Texas. You've probably actually heard that before.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Well, it's like a daily thing
Oh,
almost.
yeah.
That's the East Texas thing. Every single holiday season, have to keep an eye on East Texas.
Because they're going to do stupid shit.
Because they're going to violate the Constitution,
Yeah.
and we have to go over there and hear them slippery slope the fuck out. They're going to take away our nativity scenes, and next it's going to be our Bibles, and then they're going to take the church steeples. I don't know where the hell they're going to hide the church steeple, but I mean, they're obviously all the gay too. So seriously, it's not far from that.
It's very similar.
That is East Texas and that's also Florida, parts of it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Miami-Dade. We're not talking about you.
So not everybody is happy about Joseph Richardson getting to speak, obviously, because this is Florida we're talking about. So there was a newspaper in Polk County called The Ledger, and there was a woman named Carol Stevens who decided that the commissioners should be punished in the next election for allowing an atheist to speak at all. And Carol Stevens said in her letter, quote, "Atheists do not have any message that is consistent with any quality of spiritual life in Polk County, regardless of one's religious affiliation."
Please define spiritual life.
Yeah,
Yes.
and also, go ahead. Read
Whichever county official granted permission for this fiasco should be summarily fired because it sets legal precedents for other factions to demand equal time with monetary consequences should they be denied. Well, I mean, Carol, that's kind of how it works.
I know. I'm so sorry that equal time is a bad thing.
I mean, obviously it is. It's such a horrible thing that we're just gonna fire everybody over it.
Yeah, it's
Christ, dude.
it is odd. Like it's okay. So if we let the atheist speak, I'm just gonna stick in this accent.
Yeah, that's
If
fine.
we let the atheist, because they don't pluralize it, speak, then we gotta let the Muslims speak,
And them Jewish folks too.
and the Satanist. Although as far as I know, atheist is Satanists.
I mean, of
And
course.
they will not replace us.
Oh God.
If we're being consistent.
She of course, Carol Stevens goes on to say, "Just wait for the next group: the Polk County Covenant of Witches, Louis Farrakhan's group, the Nazis, or the KKK, to demand equal time and then sue us for discrimination."
The fuck are the
Certainly
Nazis?
this had to cross the minds of someone in charge at the county.
The Nazis.
I
How the
have a
fuck are we in
feeling-
the same sentence as Nazis?
I have a feeling the Nazis and the KKK are actually a lot closer to your religion than you think they are, Carol. I mean, they might be in the exact same pews as you are.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, it's such disgusting bullshit because legit, if they were to say you can't do this based on the fact that I don't like what you have to say religiosity-ness, then yeah,
Religiosity-ness.
it is active discrimination. And they should, if they participate in the religious discrimination, then they need to face a consequence for it. But because they didn't engage in religious discrimination, ooh, Carol Stevens is pissed. She mad.
Yeah, it's that is
She needs a fainting couch, apparently.
comments.
According to the comments.
the comment section. Is that on Friendly Atheist?
Yeah.
Yeah, the comment section on there is great, by the way. And that is I've never kind of understood this. Equality equals what? Like that's the thing, right? They're terrified, obviously, that if somebody else gets to go there, that they're going to lose rights.
In the mind
Haven't you
of the
heard-
oppressor, equality is oppression.
Haven't you ever read Animal Farm?
Yes.
Some people are just more equal than others.
Four legs good, two legs bad.
That was actually Animal Farm is your favorite one, right?
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
one of my absolute favorite books of all time.
Yeah.
I read it in 7th grade. My dad had to explain all of like the themes to me because I didn't get it.
Pretty certain that they want a theocracy.
Oh well, yeah.
Right, that's what we're seeing, right? That's the reason, like on Periscope, sometimes we read from the FFRF magazine
Yes.
or newsletter or whatever it is.
The letters, the angry letters.
Yeah, and it's all every single one of them that's like that. They're like, we don't want your kind here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my kind? First off, Mr. Hovind, define a kind. And then also, do me the favor of letting me know why you don't like the Constitution.
They don't like the Constitution because it prevents them from, stomping on people's necks.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
Yeah.
It is.
So yeah. I'm trying to
So
think. I'm trying
congratulations.
to look at some of the other comments.
Congratulations, Florida. They went. There's also that one that said that only Christians can give the invocation, and that's also in Florida, right? That was something we talked about last week.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
Florida's doing their best, while Georgia and Alabama and Ohio and Missouri and pretty much everybody that has a Republican governor, the Republican governor of Nebraska the other day came out and said that we support Georgia. And I'm sitting here going, no, the fuck we don't. First off, I support Georgia for the reasons that A, they're a state, and B, I have friends that live there. And also, I think that's it. Pretty dirty South, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's more just like I support the fact that this is a place that also happens to be in the same like geographically local area to you, but like the things they're doing, no.
Yeah,
Like,
and so
just-
so Florida said, look, there's no way we could do the abortion thing, so God damn it, let's do the atheist thing,
I mean,
right?
one or the
That is-
other.
Well, that's because like a couple of years ago there was a guy. This actually happened down in Florida. I don't remember what the town is, but I can certainly look it up. This is back in 2016, where he's a public school teacher, and he went where they had the nativity scene in the public park, and went there, and he tried to be anonymous, but as it happens so often, and he actually got a satanic display up next to the nativity scene because the city was like, yeah, that's pretty much required.
Yeah.
You have to do that. Constitution, or the hashtag Constitution.
Yeah.
So good job, Nathaniel. Way to keep up with the millennials on that one. Yes, I can certainly hold your laptop.
Because I gotta move.
And not only did somebody, here's her laptop. Not only did somebody
There's a uterus on my laptop.
go and drive their truck into it
Oh yeah.
to try to damage it, and also got arrested
Yeah.
because vandalism is a thing. But they also tried to get the teacher fired.
Yeah.
People tried to say, I don't want no Satanist, by the way. He's an atheist. I don't want no Satanist teaching my children's. Because Satanists can't teach my children's anything except for Satanists.
I mean, of course. Of course. I mean, well, and the FFRF is still having problems here in Texas with Greg Abbott letting them put their holiday display.
We're working on Texas. I have plans.
We're getting there.
Yep, we're gonna be there.
Yeah.
But Cheshire says that I am too tired for this dumb.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
What's next on our docket?
What's next on our docket here? Let's see what's next on our docket here. Mormons. Mormons are what's on
We
our
talk
docket.
about Mormons on this channel. Like
We really
this
do.
is we mention them like once an episode.
At least, yeah. So
Well, there's some audio in the background.
that's
That'll go away.
Somebody getting in the shower. So there is a woman who is suing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who apparently they don't want to be called the Mormons anymore.
I don't care.
Which I'm just gonna still call them Mormons. So a woman's suing the Mormon Church because she's alleging that she was raped at the missionary training center, and now she believes that someone is trying to intimidate her into silence.
You mean like what happens in practically all rape cases?
Yeah.
Basically.
That doesn't sound outside of the norm at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So she is alleging that somebody poured Drano in her orange juice. She said she went, like, she made breakfast for her daughter, took the daughter to school, and then came back, poured herself a glass of orange juice, and drank it.
Yeah.
I don't think she drank the whole thing.
Thankfully.
But she had to go to the hospital. And then a few days after that, someone set fire to her car.
Yeah, like blew up her fucking car.
Yeah. A neighbor's surveillance camera apparently captured a flash in the early morning hours. And a police report provided said that police seized the burned vehicle and containers with liquid inside them. And then about a week after the burned car, so this has all happened within the span of like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
She caught a man lurking in her front yard. She said, "I jumped off my porch. Don't ask me why I did this, but my first response was, 'What are you doing?' She chased after him. She said that someone tackled her from behind and took her to the ground. She suffered a broken nose, a broken wrist, and a broken finger." Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's so...
Luckily, she's kept up with it. She's filed reports every time, so she has a paper trail documenting all of this.
So she's suing LDS.
Right.
She's suing the church.
She is suing the church.
Okay. How does she know it's the church?
Because she says, "I have no name, no identity of who was behind the recent attacks. Even if I were to speculate, I have absolutely no idea." But she also says that she has no... my life is pretty normal besides her case related to the church. "I don't have enemies that would try to poison me, torch my car, or snap my wrist." Like,
which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So, and I mean, it's a natural conclusion to come to. I don't know, man. It's terrifying because so many times when people end up abused by the church, whatever church it is, they get silenced. You know, they're terrified.
Yeah.
And it's so sad.
Well, yeah, because the Mormons, and Sassy Atheist says that there are a lot of Mormon missionaries in your hometown. Oof. Oh, goodness. They try, and of course, this is like an allegedly thing. We don't know if the LDS is at all involved.
Right.
Or if anybody that's involved in the church is. I mean, it could just be, because she doesn't know who raped her, right? Or does she?
I think she does. I'd have to go back a couple of articles because I thought I saw it. She is naming the person. Yes, so she has named her rapist, her alleged rapist.
And
and she's also, there is another person that is also suing the church for the same thing. For the exact same thing.
So and I don't want to equivocate, right? And make it seem like it's the same. But the Catholic Church.
Yes.
Right. For years and years and years, they covered up all of this stuff, right? They covered up how many rapes. They covered up how much pedophilia. It's not something that's out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
I mean, and just recently, this is something that we had mentioned earlier. Got to follow them from Mike the Humanist. Thanks so much, Mike the Humanist. That's a Twitter follow. Feel free to click the bell to subscribe to us and, of course, to Suris. Is it the bell or click subscribe? I don't know. I'm not good at this yet.
Click subscribe for subscribing. Click the bell to be notified.
There it is.
There you go.
Thanks.
There's the words.
There they are.
I have the best words.
But
smash that like button.
Smash it. Just smash. With and since we're talking about rape and shit, in Poland, there's obviously some things going on recently, but there was a guy who's in Poland. I think he's a priest of some sort, or a cardinal, or he's a Catholic of, I don't know. He's some sort of bird. I don't know. And he said that this should not be seen as an attack on the church.
Right.
Because it's cleansing the church.
Yeah.
Which is great, by the way.
Yeah, that's great.
I hope that if this is the case, that this person that she has named as her rapist, and that she is going after the church, that LDS, that the Mormons don't see it as an attack on their church.
Right.
But rather, I mean, an attack on the people that are representing the church.
Right. And I feel like if they were to come at it from the standpoint of it's a good thing that these allegations came out because otherwise we would not have known that we had such a garbage human being working for us. Which, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know specifics about Mormons, so I can't attest to how many of them are garbage human beings. I don't know.
Now
I just know this person is a garbage human being.
Yeah, and it should be noted, by the way, that having garbage people working at your company is not like a religious thing. It's not just like an explicitly religious thing.
Right.
Shitty people work all over the place.
Yep.
And we work with shitty people.
Yes.
Some of the people that are going to listen to this are shitty people.
Yes.
Right?
Myself included.
No, she's not. And it's simply to say that the church has a different standard.
Right.
That has been set by them.
Right.
And that's why whenever it comes to the possible involvement, or in the case of the Catholic Church, and in the case of how many of the things that we read from the FFRF newsletter that are from some sort of person that's involved in the clergy or in some sort of leadership capacity in a church, it is necessary for us to include that.
Right.
Not to include that a person like works for like FedEx or something, although that's a trivial matter, but to include the fact that this person is a priest, has been a priest for 30 years, and has had all of this access, automatic trust.
Right.
There's a different standard that's set.
There's a position of power that clergy find themselves in that can very, very easily be abused. And if we can't be willing to call out anybody who is being abusive, regardless of religious ties or lack of religious ties or, occupation, shit like that, we have to be able to call people out.
Yeah,
we do.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, and so, and I know, and we also understand, of course, when it comes to rape, how difficult that can be.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that we, as people, need to stand up for, and to to say, hey, I believe you. I'm here for you. Right, because there's an incredible, in the United States, just thinking back to like Brett Kavanaugh, right? And he's only one example. The guy in Stanford.
But he likes beer.
Matt Damon's such a great job with him, but
he likes beer.
But the stuff, how it shrouds rape cases and stuff like that.
Right.
And what we didn't talk about it last week, but we mentioned it, or at some point here on Wednesday, that the guy that was a preacher, he molested some kids, right? And he got off for like 12 years or some shit.
Something like that.
Because he was a good person.
Yeah.
Because he was a pastor.
There was also the guy who raped and impregnated the 14-year-old who they decided he wasn't going to have to quit teaching at a middle school.
Yeah. So
he was defrocked as a result of raping and impregnating a 14-year-old.
Yeah. So just something for us to remember. Baloney's is trying their best. It's just something that's important to remember is that we need to focus on what this young lady is saying, what's been happening, and also, if necessary, this is important. If necessary, if it's shown that there is no connection to LDS, then to separate it entirely. Right. That's important. We have to do that. We so much rely on like our cognitive abilities and logic and stuff like that, but so often, especially within us and what we think of the Mormon Church and what we think of the Catholic Church, it's so easy for us of the secular community to automatically attach that, and then it's like super glue.
Right.
If it comes out that's something that this is not at all related to LDS, then to remove it from that. So.
Oh, do we have mods?
Do we have mods?
Are we able to have mods?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're able to have mods. You just click on the 3 dots next to somebody's name and turn them into a mod.
I have to. I'm Mute.
I just added one. I hope I did the right thing. It's you, baloney. I'm just kidding. No, I would never. Now be a good mod. Be a respectful mod. I have given you an immense source of power, Mrs. Parker. Be responsible. Okay. Anyways,
So yeah, what's the last thing we want to tackle? Do we want to tackle Taiwan? Because I think we probably got enough time for Taiwan, and then that's about it. Or do we
let me do my
Sure.
rundown real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a real quick rundown, and each of them is going to get like 15 seconds, except for this one. No, I want to talk about the president or the vice president real fast. Okay.
Oh yeah, this one's pretty.
So
funny.
the vice president, a couple years ago, he went in 2017 after he was the vice president. He went to Notre Dame, not the one that tried to burn down or whatever.
No.
But the students at Notre Dame, they tried to they were like, we're burning down this metaphorically this ceremony at the graduation. They were like, we outie, Mr. Vice President. And so they protested by walking out, and that was actually something that made headline news at that point because it was like the first time. It wasn't the last.
Nope.
It just happened yesterday.
Yes.
Right at
I think it's
Taylor University.
You could not remember
I
Taylor
kept calling it Trinity.
Trinity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you really think anybody at Trinity is going to walk away from the vice president?
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw Ken Ham tweeting about that. He was so horribly upset.
Poor
Hold
Ken
on.
Ham.
Yeah,
Poor
Ken
man.
Ham was so upset that people walked out on Pence.
Yep.
And I'm just like, Ken, look, I understand that you would love to have Ken I would love that you would. I understand that you would love. Wow, brain. I understand that you would love to have Mike Pence in a room alone, all to yourself, possibly with some soft, tantalizing music in the background, and preferably with some condoms. But that does not make any of your points valid.
Yeah. But you can see on the screen now as well with this was the mortarboard of one of the students who walked out. She and others had things like this. Taylor University is Taylor.
Taylor.
Okay, gosh, is
I
a
don't know how you can't remember that.
I don't know. It is a private private Christian liberal arts university. Right.
Cool.
So they exist.
That's a thing.
And not all of the students walked out, but it was students and faculty.
Right.
Why did they walk out?
So they walked out, and I gotta close that. Pence said they walked out like minutes before he began speaking, so they didn't hear him, espouse about how people need to become more faith-based and shit.
Yeah. It was.
So I'm trying to find it.
No, it's okay.
I had found it, I read it earlier, so I'm trying to find it. So there was one of the particular graduates. She had decorated the top of her hat. Did you already put it
Yeah,
on?
it's up there.
Yeah, so that's the hat, the mortarboard, rather, of Laura Rathburn. She was one of the dozens to walk out. She was disappointed that the school's administration picked Pence to address her class. As you can tell, she decorated the top of her mortarboard. Rathburn said, I think his presence makes it difficult for everyone at Taylor to feel welcomed. And there were a couple of other graduates, Katie Tupper and Anna Streed. They wore stickers on their mortarboards that said, We are Taylor too, which they said represented support for marginalized people hurt by the Trump administration's policies. Christian Liberal Arts School of about 2,500 rose and quietly walked down the aisle and out of the auditorium in the Kessler Student Activity Center, where the university held the commencement exercise. Most of them were still there. Most of them stayed seated, of course. But there were thousands of people apparently had signed competing online petitions. One of the petitions asked the university to rescind the Pence invite, and the other one was all like, hey, no, it's totally cool. We like a man who calls his wife mother and cannot be in the presence of another woman ever. Then again, that's judgy. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be judgy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know their dynamic. Maybe people
Yeah.
know that dynamic. I can't be judgy. I can't be shady.
He's the only person I've ever met with that true dynamic. Now, with that being said, back when I was a senior in high school at the evangelical church that I went to, we came back from a trip. I think it was to a I don't know, Christian concert or a weekend of Christianity. I don't know, something crazy. And one of the youth leaders drove me home, and she got in trouble.
Really?
Yes, because she was alone with me in the vehicle and drove me home. So it's not. It's because I'm obviously.
She gets in trouble and you don't.
I'm obviously irresistible.
I mean, I think you are.
You have to attack me in the car apparently.
I have done that before.
It's true, but we're also dating, and I'm not 17.
I mean, I'm glad you're not 17.
I graduated when I was 17, and so that kind of.
you act like it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That mindset does exist.
It does.
But I've never heard it in a vice president before.
Yeah.
And so what's really funny is the vice president went on. I was just getting ready for the impeachment and calling him president already.
No.
The vice president went on to say to the crowd that most of them stayed.
Yeah.
Most of the students and faculty stayed in the auditorium, and he went on to talk about how this was an example of how they're being persecuted and how you basically can't say that you're a Christian anymore in the United States. And I'm sitting here going, most of y'all motherfuckers are still there.
Yeah.
You can't be persecuted. You're in the vast majority, you mother lover.
Because Pence.
Yes, because Pence. Thank you. Made that one up on the.
That's
on
what
the,
you're
on
going
the
for.
fly.
though, right?
I yes. Somebody
Okay,
is
good.
going to get that in the chat, and we're just going to let them.
Yes.
But yeah, it's.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is an example. I don't know how Mike. Actually, I do know how Mike Pence talks. He talks like me.
Oh.
He's from the Midwest or whatever, and so he goes back to his own state. His own state fucking hates him. He's a one-term guy there. He and Mayor Pete are getting into it, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I've always liked him. Yeah, well, he didn't like you apparently, dick. And then he apparently talked about great policies by the president because things that are important to graduation.
Right.
I'm clapping my hands together. You can't see it on the camera.
Things that are important to students who are graduating are totally metaphorically sucking Trump's penis.
I mean, yeah, of course. Yeah, he devoted other parts of his
This
address.
is the reason people are throwing milkshakes.
Dude, wait, what now?
So this is the reason people are throwing milkshakes.
Oh yeah. Oh, Burger King, I love you.
Yeah,
Sargon got one of them, and I'm just
I
like,
saw.
Really?
Sargon got milkshaked.
mm-hmm.
Did he really?
Yeah, there were some, like, most of the places were all like, we're not going to sell milkshakes because people were saying they're going to milkshake him, but Burger King was all like, motherfucker, we'll sell a milkshake.
Yeah. Yeah. And Burger King was all like, my milkshakes, what they do.
They didn't make that joke, though.
No, they did a good job though.
Yeah.
They didn't
No.
win. They didn't do as well as like Wendy's does.
Dude, Wendy's Twitter is legit.
Yeah. But and so did he? I didn't even know. I think that's hilarious.
Oh, but yeah, so the other things that Pence talked about in the address, the Trump administration's message on the state of the economy, the nation's number of job openings, and its low unemployment rate. Motherfucker!
Yeah. Like things that are super important to
To people who are graduating with a metric ass ton of student loan debt.
yes, that is incredibly because it is a private
Yeah.
religious school. Those are like some of the most expensive schools in the country.
Yeah.
So
Because, like, they don't qualify for federal financial aid and shit, right?
they can still get financial aid at private universities, I think.
Well, but, like, the for-profit shit.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
No.
So the president. We would like, by the way, to to not have to bring up the vice president every week. So, but if you want to walk out of Mike Pence speeches on a weekly basis, we will
fine.
absolutely talk about you.
I'm okay with
and we will bring it up, whatever.
We will have you
So,
on the show.
So let's see here.
If you walk out of Mike Pence's speeches and then immediately go to a Burger King near you,
Let me. I'm gonna transition back to us. There we are.
I was just smelling my hair.
She was
washed
smelling
it.
her hair.
I washed it.
So
time in a week.
here is the quick rundown. In Catholic Church news of secondary news, Father Jonathan Morris is quitting the priesthood so he can go have some sex.
So he's
I need my just had sex thing.
He's the guy that was the priest that would show up on Fox News all the time, and he said in a letter to his friends, basically, yo, God is calling me to quit this. But somebody pointed out in the comments that the whole point of the priesthood is that God is calling you to be a priest. So
God
it's
is calling you to quit the priesthood because you desperately need to get your dick wet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to bust a nut.
But at least he's being honest about it.
Yeah.
Because I know that because raping of nuns and stuff like that in the Catholic Church is real.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that this guy is being honest about it, and is saying, I'm quitting the Catholic Church so I can go and. But is he gonna go get married or what? I don't understand.
I don't know. He's
just gonna just go fuck on the rando, because I'm cool with that too. But whatever.
It doesn't say that he already has a girlfriend or anything.
How could he?
I mean, we Catholic priests lie all the time.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. It doesn't say that he already has a girlfriend or anything, but I hope you're able to hear in my written word the newfound joy I have in my heart as I begin this new chapter, despite my fear of stepping into the unknown. So what I'm kind of sincerely a little bit hoping is that it's not just I want to do this so I can have a family. It's like it's his way of trickling out of religion. I sort of wonder if that's
Maybe
where he's going with
It's going to end up on MSNBC at this point, at this rate.
I mean, maybe.
It's going to be Rachel Maddow's.
Maybe one day he can be on divine disbelief.
If I tell you what, we could probably get a lot of people that are like a part of the clergy project on here.
Oh yeah,
I imagine that.
But in the letter that he posted, it was dated 5/17, so yesterday, he put his email address. I'm not gonna put it out there, but you can find it if you really want to.
It's on Fox News, isn't it?
I don't know. Friendly Atheist.
Oh yeah, I imagine it's probably Fox News somewhere. So you can go and email him if you want to. Tell him he's I don't know, whatever.
Give him some encouragement, I guess.
Yeah, say, hey man,
might need
cool.
it.
Yeah, in Austria, no more headscarves for young people that are going to public school. It specifically says that you cannot wear you can't wear them if they are
religious head coverings that cover the hair, cover whole or large parts of the hair.
But it doesn't matter if you're a sheik or if you are a Jewish person. It only matters if you are a Muslim.
You said a sheik.
Did I say Sikh wrong?
You said sheik.
I'm sorry.
You didn't say Sikh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because it does
not
include the Jewish kippah or the Sikh patka. They are not included in the ban. The ban is likely to come to Australia's constitutional court.
Austria, not Australia.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Australia, you fucked up too with your elections, but Austria is fucking up more.
In my defense, we were talking about Australia earlier with the rugby guys, so my bad. I'm sorry. Austria. So the previous government prohibited full-face veils in courts, schools, and other public places, and banned police officers, judges, magistrates, and public prosecutors from wearing headscarves.
I will be, and I'm telling you, this will be fun to try and see what happens, and how it. I have to go grab something. I'm going to see how this could, because there's other countries in the EU that have brought up like fines against people like that are wearing like burqas and stuff. Yeah. I think France is one of them. But this is important to note that the current administration in Austria is far right.
Not surprising.
So this, and it's important to keep an eye on this.
Yes.
They're anti-immigration, they're far right, and now they are looking and taking away the religious liberties of one group of people, and we already know how these types of people view atheists.
Right.
So I have to go grab something. So
Okay.
you and Suris have the con.
Oh boy.
Good luck.
Oh dear.
I know I'm just arguing with somebody on Facebook about the abortion bill stuff, which is just,
Oh yay.
Our evangelicals just there's actually
no,
questions.
the
in the
person
chat,
the
too,
person's
so-
an atheist. Person's an atheist.
Oh.
And
I have to go
they're
grab
they're
something. I'll be
trying
right back.
they're trying to claim that the proposal doesn't seek to punish a woman with 99 years in prison. And I said, well, actually, a Class A felony in Alabama can lead to 10 to 99 years in prison. And if abortion is sought to be put under the jurisdiction of a Class A felony, then the guilty, depending on who is considered guilty at that time, would be the one who is going to suffer the consequences of committing a Class A felony. If it is a doctor who is performing the abortion, then they would go to prison and suffer the consequences of, performing a Class A felony. If the investigation shows that it was the mother's fault, like the mother had a miscarriage or forcibly did it on her own, which is a thing you can do.
Yeah.
It's just not safe. But it's a thing you can do,
Right.
Then you would be guilty of a Class A felony. So I'm just like, dude, do you need me? Do you want me to get someone who has experience reading through legal documents to lay this out in detail? Because it seems to me to be rather simple.
Right.
This is not a difficult thing, but it's just it's agitating.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the question of and I've been kind of avoiding like getting into Facebook arguments and Twitter arguments and stuff because that's just what I do. I avoid them. But I did see the question of, so if we're going to be bringing action against the women and we're going to be bringing action against the doctors, what are we going to be doing against the people whose sperm is responsible for it? Like, has that? I'm assuming it's probably been discussed in great detail. It's just not a discussion that I've seen.
There actually was a bill that was proposed, or an amendment to a bill that was proposed. I forget in which state, but I covered it on one of my live streams recently. Where a woman came in and said, I would like to see some equality in all this.
Right.
So I propose a bill that would force men to receive vasectomies. It would make them a legal requirement.
Right.
And the judge overhearing just said, I urge you to say no. And of course it was voted out. And it's just like, I had some people in the chat that were just like, why would you want that? And it's like, it's not that I want that. It's not that I want men to be forced to have vasectomies. It's that if they're going to control somebody's body, then they may as well be controlling everyone's,
Right.
not just one sex.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, it's not that I personally want that end result. I would not like that. However, there are women who do not like their bodies being freaking legislated against like that. So, it's not... It doesn't seem difficult. It seems like a really simple concept, and yet people don't get it. And I don't get how they don't get it.
It's like this completely foreign concept to not actually like, or to have any form of like equality in terms of the oppression, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, like if they're gonna try and mandate forced pregnancies and stuff, then they need to mandate vasectomies. That's just I don't agree with the mandating of forced pregnancies, so I don't agree with the mandating of vasectomies. But also, like there was another thing that I saw that like one man can get so many women pregnant in a year.
Mm-hmm.
And like a woman can only has so many opportunities per year to get pregnant, so they need like more focus on the idea of like male birth control. But I don't know.
Yep. No, it's now I do know that research is being done into male birth control.
Yeah.
And I would like to see that. I would like to live in a world where it was as easy for me to go take a pill that during the course of the time that I have that pill, I'm essentially sterile, or at least 99% sterile. I would like that to be the case, but I don't currently live in that world.
Right.
Though I would very much like to be in that world. Although, unfortunately, because of everything that's been going on with all of these bills, here in the next year, I'm probably just going to get a vasectomy because I don't plan on having biological children. And with all of this going on, there seems to be no benefit to me not doing so.
Yeah.
It's just safer.
Yeah, I'm getting a vasectomy.
That's gonna be wonderful. I have an IUD, so it's pretty fantastic.
Raging Atheist is awesome.
I do love
You guys
it.
talking about birth control or what?
Yeah, like the idea of if we're gonna have forced vasectomies or forced pregnancies, we're gonna do forced vasectomies,
Oh,
sort of thing.
hi Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because the person I was arguing with said that the bill, even if it went through, which the Alabama bill did go through, so but it doesn't say that women will get 99 years. And like, actually, no, it says that abortion would be a Class A felony for anybody who is considered to be legally held accountable for it. If it is the doctor, then the doctor can receive 10 to 99 years because in Alabama, that is the punishment for a Class A felony. If it is the woman, if she self-induces, then she is liable for a Class A felony. So she would then be liable for 10 to 99 years for committing, say it for the people in the back of the classroom, a Class A felony.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's incredibly simple. It doesn't take any thought to just read the bill and go, okay, if this is labeled under Class A, what are the punishments for Class A? Okay, now that we know how to put 2 and 2 together because we took first grade math, we can continue on.
Yeah. And now the people that are in Georgia, they can't go to Alabama. Not that anybody in Georgia wants to do that anyways.
Yeah.
But now they only have, how many states does Georgia, I think Georgia touches Tennessee for a second.
I don't know.
We touch Tennessee, we touch Florida.
South Carolina.
I barely even know where Texas touches. Come on.
Texas is the biggest country in the United States.
It basically is.
Yeah.
You know, I was only being half sarcastic when I said that, right?
Have you seen how many geographical locations can fit into Texas? You can fit a Canada in Texas. You can fit another Texas in Texas.
Yeah.
You can fit Eurasia into Texas, and Texas still has room for at least one more Texas.
It's true. Now, with that being said, you can fit most of Europe into Texas.
You can.
That is a true statement.
You can drive across like multiple countries if you're driving through Europe, and still not be out of Texas.
I have seen the little UKs, little people like take like the little model of the UK and they put it in. It's so many times.
Yeah.
I'm like, the amount of time, because it takes us about 8 hours to drive to Big Bend National Park from our house here in Arlington. The amount of time it takes us to drive to Big Bend.
Yeah.
We would have driven at least across Europe.
Yeah.
It's funny. He didn't say largest state. He said largest country. And anybody that is from Texas will let you know that Texas has been owned by 6 countries, including itself.
Yes. It's true.
It could
That's why
lead
we
to-
have a theme park called Six Flags.
Right down the road, too.
Yep.
That's the first one, wasn't it? Six Flags Over Texas was the first one, right?
Would Pluto have fit into Texas by Mark Caesar?
Oh,
at
yes.
least 3 Pluto would fit into Texas, which means that we need to get NASA involved in determining whether or not Texas can be called a planet.
A planet, yes. Yeah.
I mean, they're in Houston.
And it makes sense because, as she said, they're in Houston. You could almost fit Pluto like into DFW. Do you remember the conversation I had with that guy about DFW and crime rates and stuff?
Oh, God, yes.
That was funny. I was like,
Christ.
basically anywhere in the Midwest. And he's like, oh, everywhere in the Midwest has a better crime rate. I was like, no, it's not what I said.
Yeah.
Like, that was funny, though, because DFW, it is enormous. To drive from Weatherford over to Rockwall,
Yeah.
it
takes a hot minute.
it's to drive from Weatherford to downtown Dallas is an hour doing like 75 miles an hour.
It would take me an hour and a half to get from the Planned Parenthood office just off of 75 to the apartment I lived in when I lived in Fort Worth, which was in Southwest Fort Worth.
And that's doing like the speed limit.
Yeah.
That's not during traffic. Yeah, DFW, besides the shitty traffic, is just enormous.
Yeah.
And then Sassy Atheist says that Divine Notes Belief won't talk. Now that we're talking about sizes of things, when you're in Texas, you get to tell everybody how big it is.
Also, Raging Atheist, I'm missing Game of Thrones as well, which I
is.
plan on watching as soon as we're done.
I already know the spoilers
Fuck off.
because I don't care.
It is a matter of fact that walking into Texas does in fact enlarge your penis, because everything is bigger in Texas.
Truth.
Therefore,
Yep.
however, it also means that your ego gets larger as well.
Very true.
And so, sorry.
No, it is. What do I say? Yeah, I saw that too from Raging Atheist.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, he just said you two are really perfect together, and we both looked at each other and knew what each of us was thinking about. Maybe you're right, but love you. Everything. I said it. Actually, that was something I said. Everything is bigger in Texas, including the egos. That's a real thing. That's like how will you know if somebody from Texas walks into a bar?
Don't worry, they'll let you know.
Yeah.
Or
They really do.
if there was where was it? Was it at? Oh, it was Eric at Faithless Forum where he was like, you know how you know we're in Texas, and he goes, the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
I'm gonna demonetize this on purpose.
I hate you.
I think I need to de-life now.
Yeah, pretty much. Joke's on you though. We don't receive any money from this yet.
Nope.
But we are considering setting up Patreon though. So because it actually does take a lot of time for us to find all this stuff, and because we go, look, I should be paid money more than anything else because I go and find these things on Fox News.
Yeah, you go to Fox News. I choose to give ad revenue to like Hemant Mehta.
Oh no, I have ad block set up, and they're always like, "Please take us off ad block," and I'm like, "Nope."
Yeah, and I find it via like.
So I go to Fox News, but we have about 5 minutes left, and Suris, what we do, actually, usually we do this over the course of the past 30 or 45 minutes of a show.
Right.
But because we've been on your channel and you already have a fairly large following of folks, which is pretty awesome, by the way. We always talk
I
about.
apologize to everybody in my audience.
we always talk about your channel and what you do, and stuff like that. And so we're actually going to give you a little bit of time here by yourself to kind of introduce yourself to those who are here that may not visit your channel very often. So the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, so if I'm speaking to the few privileged people who have not had the unfortunate circumstance of interacting with me, because trust me, it is better to live in a world where that didn't happen. But in the event that you decide that you do want to do that, for some reason, my channel is Suris the Skeptic. On there, I've got a bunch of different shows. Lately, I've been doing mostly live streams because they take less time than doing the post-edited videos. Like it takes less time to do a 5-hour live stream than it does to do a 20-minute episode. Just because the time it takes to do editing stuff. So I've mostly been doing that because we're doing all of the moving stuff. Because, I mean, I don't have any of my crap here anymore. It's all in a box.
Yeah.
Notice that we were hoping to see Plushy Suris.
I mean, Plushy Suris is around. Actually, Plushy Suris, I snuck him into camera for a little bit. You guys just didn't notice.
Oh,
no,
darn
I
it!
didn't see it. I'm sorry.
But no.
There he is.
Plushy Suris is right there. He's
There.
very much right there.
There he is.
But-
Did you see it?
Yay!
She's looking down at some of the show notes.
But no, aside from the live show stuff, which has been the larger thing on my channel right now due to circumstance, I have my standard video response series because apparently if you're a skeptic and you don't have a video response series, you lose your card and license.
Yeah.
I've got the LHAC series where I talk about philosophical principles usually, sometimes social issues. Usually it's stuff like, hey, let's go over Clifford's principle, which is a philosophical principle about the merit of belief. Hey, let's go over logical inconsistencies with the argument from Yahweh. Like all that kind of philosophical stuff is going to be in the LHAC series. And then there's the Dangers of Woo series, where I go over everything from chiropractic to people who think vitamin B17 cures cancer, or people who drink their own pee and think that will cure cancer. A lot of this just it's almost always cancer cures for some reason. I have one person on there who's a chiropractic who thinks that chiropractic and dieting cures cancer. And it's like, okay, yeah, no, you need help. You need to never have a medical license. It's a good thing you don't have one already. But those are the main things that I do, aside from also the Hammered Out podcast, which is with Ocean Keltoy. That is usually every Thursday. Here lately, obviously, there's too much going on, so we haven't been able to do that. That's most of what I do over there. I've also got a Discord. Links to that are in the description of Practically Every video that I do. And on the Discord, we've got live discussions that happen fairly often. Usually it's just kind of hanging out in a voice chat channel. We also do a lot of gaming stuff on Discord. So if you're into playing like classic World of Warcraft, or if you're into playing League of Legends or card games, we have a lot of gamers on there, and a lot of us play together on my Discord. That's my way of making sure that I'm still interacting with fans, because you guys keep me going. Because without fans, I literally wouldn't have a channel. That's kind of how this works. So that's my way of trying to do stuff with you guys still. So,
And
much else I can say.
I hear that you did a video series about science and how it's falsely so called.
Oh yeah, no, I've also got a 6-part video series where we deconstruct Matt Powell's movie Science Falsely So Called. That has had a bunch of different rotating guests on, from Russ, the Frustrated Atheist. We've got Sean, the Atheist Rationale. We've had Nathaniel Walters on for one episode. We had Jim Hall on for an episode.
Oops.
Aaron Raw was on for a different episode as well. Bionic Dance was on for a few episodes. Nakatsuchi was on for a couple of episodes. And then on one golden episode, Matt Powell was on the panel for a short time, of all people.
Wow.
So what did you think about that raging atheist fella? You know,
I have
like on. Now I should say that. So when you first, because I think I actually asked this question, not in jest, but when you first watched it, what was your opinion?
So when I watched the movie, which was the first interaction that I had, it's a movie falsely so called. But when I watched that, the first impression that I got of Nakatsuchi was, this guy is one of the worst advocates for atheism I have ever seen. Damn it! And to be fair though, about 70% of that was Matt Powell's editing. Like, most of that was Matt Powell editing his ums and his, like, normally when you do an edit for a movie or a discussion, you edit the ums out, you edit the pregnant pauses out, and Matt kept them all in order to make Nakatsuchi look more foolish. Since then, though, and having more time talking with him, I've realized that, that other 30% is because he wasn't exposed to, like, the greater atheist community that's developed since then. It was mostly, like, your TJ Kirks and your Drunken Peasants and a lot of the older stuff. And a lot of their arguments were always really base level. It was always just like, hit the religion in the kidney. And that's about as far as they got in most cases, unless you were talking about creationism, when you could do things like deconstructing the science, like Thunderfoot used to do.
Yeah.
So because that was like most of his exposure, it made sense. And I was like, okay, no, it makes perfect sense that 70% of this is Matt's dishonest editing and the other 30% is just not knowing. Because for me, when Matt brought up the Tech Times article, I was like, literally all of us have been covering, like, I didn't cover it, but like Vice Rhino had been covering it, Iowan had been covering it, I believe Mr. Atheist even covered it. Like, so many people had covered the Tech Times article that when it was shown in that movie, I was just like, how does this guy not know what the Tech Times article is? Literally everybody's been eviscerating Bible Flockbox on this. And then it made sense. He didn't know. He didn't know that this was a thing at all. So I was like, okay, no, all that makes sense. So since then, I've actually become friends with him and grown to really like the guy, because he's a very, very honest person, regardless of what somebody may want to say about his intelligence, which I've seen a lot of people hit that in my comment section and going, why are you advocating?
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no,
Hold on. We lost him.
Oh, Zoom just... Suris. Oh, goodness. Oh, no.
Well.
Yourself.
Suris, you got... Zoom went away for a little bit, and you got timed out for a second.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. But
I
I
guess
think
that's as good time as any.
Well, I was gonna finish. I guess I'll finish the thing that I said then.
Yeah.
Because I think I know around when it cut out. While I have seen some people who try to comment and say that Raging Atheist isn't smart and therefore I should not like him for whatever reason, I just go, I don't care. Like, one, I don't know how you measured this person's intelligence. Two, it doesn't matter to me. He's a good person and he's honest, and he does speak his mind, and he doesn't do it in a way that like deliberately offends. He's usually just trying to be an open, honest, and good person. And I can get behind somebody who's like that. I don't care if you think that they're not the smartest person on the planet. I'm a fucking idiot. So,
yeah. Oh no. I'll tell you, I watched it the first time, and I have enough experience with people like that I already. Well, first off, Kent Hope. Well, it started off with like Nazis and bullshit, so I was already like, okay, well, this is going to be awful.
Yeah.
And when I saw that they brought like Kent Hovind on there and stuff, and went on to with Raging Atheist or and he's on there and stuff. My initial response was, sure, wow, this does not look good for, I don't know, and you and I have spoken about this before, like, why the fuck is it an atheist? Why not talk to a scientist? But then I immediately was also like, oh, this is definitely dishonest editing, and it did not make the Raging Atheist look good at all. But obviously we know now, a good bit about him, and it's been, actually, I'm looking forward. I think that Susan and I, we're trying to put some, like, a guest list together and stuff. We're probably going to reach out to him at some point and see if he won't come on the show with us. Yeah, that was, I kind of asked that like a bit in jest, but also because I wanted to know, because it does take for us, this happens a lot in the things that we do, where we see a video, or we automatically have a response, whether visceral or otherwise, right? And when we do that, we need to research what it is and figure out, is this what this person actually said? Because how many times, even on videos that, and Susan can tell you this because I do this all the time, and I research everything.
He does. Literally
everything. How many times has it been, maybe inappropriately, maybe that somebody didn't do it on purpose, taken out of context?
Right.
And so we automatically create this opinion of this person. And I think that that's important in what we do as well, as we go through and like research this stuff, because I'm doing a response video on here. I've actually reached out, and I think Paula G and I are going to try and make our schedules align with this, but if not, then I'm going to do it alone. Mm-hmm. But it's a response video to Mike Lacona. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I don't want to do, and this is the same thing that happened, Suris, when we were on your channel whenever I was debating Epichrist, is I was like, I actually went to, because I was pretty certain I knew what Bible verse I was talking about.
Yeah.
But I actually went to the Bible to make sure I was right. And I think that's something that we all need to make sure that we do.
Yeah.
And I am guilty of that as well. But so, yeah. There you go. Yeah. Gonna have Lisa on to talk about one-on-one. There you go. There you go.
Cool.
So there you go. Yeah, that was, sorry, I got distracted by something that I saw in the chat. So I get that every once in a while. So the way that we do this, Suris, is whoever is our Sunday night guest gets the last 30 seconds. So we're actually going to say how you can follow us and everything. You get like the last 30 seconds and the last word of the show, which means like your sign off or whatever it is. And so be ready for that.
Yes.
Because now Susan and I are going to give ours.
So I am Motel Cowboy on Twitter. You can find me there. You can find me on Facebook. If you are in Texas at all, we have the Texas Democratic Secular Caucus quarterly meeting on June the 1st in Fort Worth. You can like Texas Secular Caucus on Facebook. You can follow Texas Secular Dem on Twitter. Yeah. What about you, Nathaniel?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm Atheist Husker.
Yep. What about sports?
I think I just made alcohol come out of this like above my head.
Did you?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
You can find me on Twitter. If you like sports, you can find me there. This is so I just lost like all of Suris's channel. Not all of you, but I love.
What am sports ball?
Yes, exactly. I actually had somebody who not too long ago was speaking about that in like a non, like it became a bit of an insult almost. Every single time that I would, say, oh, I'm catching, I'm watching like, Husker sports or something like that.
Yeah.
To where it became beyond a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, stop it. Like, I like sports, dick. But it's Nathaniel Husker. You can find me there. And if you like corgis, which who doesn't like corgis? You can find them. They are. Say what?
I was trying to think of somebody who might not like corgis. My cat.
Oh yeah, her cat hates corgis.
My cat just hates anything.
Well, you see, there are certain people who hate the corgi kind.
the corgi kind.
Do not you ever again. You can follow.
I should commit not alive.
Yes, that's the one. You can follow them on Twitter. They are at DoseCorgis15. The links to those are in the description. And I think that is. I do have an announcement upcoming. But here's an announcement for the show. We are not going to be here on the 2nd of June.
Yeah, June 2nd, we're actually giving our sex ed talk for the DFW chapter of the Freedom from Religion Foundation. That's going to be in Bedford, I believe. So if you're up in DFW, you want to hear us give a really, really awesome sex ed presentation, you can check that out. The DFW FFRF on Facebook. You can go and look at their stuff. And
yeah, absolutely.
Like them.
Go
check out the event.
Next week, we're going to have one of our newly minted moderators here. And
Very
it's going to be
excited.
it's going to be taking Suris's place, and so we're going to stretch her out a little bit there. Well, that was unnecessarily sexual. I apologize. I am sorry for that. But Cheshire, who is part of the Slippery Slope, that's their new show.
Yep.
Half of the Slippery Slope is going to be here.
Yeah.
So maybe we're just going to stay away from logical fallacies. That'd be great. She's going to be with us.
That'd be a really good thing to do.
I should look forward
to. They also make good art as well. I should probably point that out as well.
Yes, yeah. Go and follow them. We put the links all of like Suris and everything in this one. We didn't put the links to their stuff, but go and follow Cheshire and go and follow Slippery Slope. That is really some good art. Some of the graphics are not just some of them, but their graphics are some of the best graphics I've seen.
Yeah.
And
I'm totally not biased because they've made me fan art.
I'm not. Make us fan art. And I reached out to Cheshire earlier because I didn't have time to do some Photoshop stuff. I was looking at some things and I reached out. I was going to see. I was like, hey, will you make me something? But that is that it for us?
I think it's it for us.
All right, Suris, we're going to mute ourselves to the audience. You can hear us. So that means that if I want to, we can just whisper things to you the whole time and you'll be able to hear us while you're talking.
Whisper sweet nothings into his ear.
But we're not going to do that. You're going to get the last word here. Mm-hmm. So take really as much time as you need, and whenever your sign off is the end of the show. All right.
Okay.
So no pressure, buddy.
I'm here. Hi. The fact that you guys get to listen to this is now the Suris ASMR channel, just so you guys know. We're having a wonderful day so far. If you just subscribe to this channel, and if you don't want to, get the fuck out. Anyway, no, I'm not actually meaning any of that, but I do hope that you guys have enjoyed the show. And if you did, awesome. And if you didn't, blame Nathaniel.
You said you were gonna mute us.
I was gonna mute us, and now I didn't mute you. I realized I didn't mute it, and now
Until I started laughing.
Oh man! And I was because I was sitting there. Well, I had I usually at that point, as soon as you're done, I do like the
music.
I do the music and everything, and it changes everything over to the graphic again, and I wasn't ready yet because because that's what I do, and so Suris, you get, I don't know, you get 15 more seconds. Go.
Where can they find
Sweet,
you?
that's enough time for me to. Never mind. Anyway, but I have enjoyed my time here, and I see that you forgot to mute again, Nathaniel. But that's fine. You're a wonderful producer. You're good at this, I swear. So am I. Not really. You're trying so hard to get to the point where you can